Hi there. So today we will be going over the addendum regarding fixture leases. Okay, so let me share my screen. All right, so this is required as of February 2023. So there's the property address. Leased fixtures are those fixtures on the property that the seller leases and does not own, specifically solar panels, propane tanks, water softener, security systems. Or collectively the lease fixtures. All rights to these fixtures are governed by the fixture leases. So, for example, what we see most common right now are solar panels. The owner got solar panels, it's leased by Tesla or whatever, and the contract on that has to convey to the new buyer. Now, at closing, the buyer shall assume this, what can either assume, and seller shall assign the buyer with the fixture leases for whatever lease it is. The buyer shall pay whatever amount that they choose to put in there, and everybody agrees to assume it, okay, because usually there's a transfer fee. Or prior to closing, seller will or will not remove those fixtures, okay, and the buyer does not assume. Seller will repair any damage. There's any holes on the roof, anything that he messes up because they remove the solar panels or the water filtration system or whatever caused by any removal. Notice, any lease fixtures remaining in the property are subject to the rights of the lease. So anything that's still there is still subject to that lease. Delivery of fixture leases, the actual paperwork. Buyer has received a copy and has agreed to assume, or buyer has not received, and seller shall provide within 5 days after effective date of the contract. Buyer may terminate the contract within 7 days after receiving those fixtures, and the earnest money will be returned. So if they don't have that information, they have 5 days after the contract to get it. Let's say they get it on day 4, then they have 7 days after that to terminate if they choose not to proceed because of that lease. Or seller provides buyer with written notice of all fixture leases or the attached identify name of leasees, rental amount, and term. Okay. So we want to make sure we get everything in writing. At closing, there will be no liens or security against these fixtures, which will not be satisfied out of the sales proceeds, except for fixtures covered by leases that buyer agrees to assume. Okay, so this is only if it's leased. If it's something where they still owe them and they're purchasing the actual item, then that has to be paid off, or the buyer has to agree to take over those payments. Okay, so I hope that helps, and feel free to let me know if you have any questions. Thanks. Bye-bye.